My name is Matt Wilson. I'm CEO of Sterling Metals. Thanks a lot for being here and listening to the chat. I'm here to talk to you about the next silver district in Canada. As per usual, we have forward-looking statements here, which I'm going to make. My background, I spent 13 years investing in and running small-cap mining companies, and I started my career 6 years at an investment fund. I had about $1 billion of junior mining and mining companies in it, and kind of learned that there were things that you should look for when you're looking at the risk and reward and big play potential of the next kind of great stories in the venture market. And you want to find something in a good place. You want good world-class size potential. You want to have great grades, and of course, as everyone knows, you need to have a good team to actually uncover it. I think that Sterling, we've got all those things, and let's talk about where we are right now. So our project, the Sail Pond project, is up in the northwest peninsula of Newfoundland. It's a great story about how this was discovered. It's a local school principal. He's driving around with his son, looking for probably hunting moose. And the access to this project is so great that he was on a logging road, and he turned to his left and he sees this blue quartz rock. Basically just sees it at the end of 2016, chips it away, Googles, figures out where he's supposed to go with it, drives it to the lab, 2.5% copper and 500 grams silver. This was the first time anyone's ever stepped foot on this project for exploration. Speaks to the ease of access. It's 30 kilometers from an airport, and Newfoundland, as a mining jurisdiction, is ranked 8th by the Fraser Institute, so it's about as good a place to be as you can get to. So in terms of the district, the world-class size potential, this project at the end of 2016 was owned by Altius Resources. And Altius over the next couple of years did everything you could probably do without drilling a hole. So what this project has is a 12-kilometer long, very linear, very distinct soil anomaly where you see grades in soils of 650 grams silver, you see 0.7% copper up to 1% of zinc, so really big grades in these soil anomalies. And I'm not a geologist, I'm a financial guy by background, but I did learn in geology straight lines are generally very positive, and so this straight line, this trend is really exciting for us, especially when it matches up with the grab samples that come from outcrop and from trenching that we've gotten. We've seen 4,500 grams silver at the bottom of the project and 15% copper, and 400 grams silver equivalent from the same looking kinds of quartz veins 12 kilometers away in the north part of the zone. And then in that district size scale potential, we want to talk about project analogs. What could this be? This is a very early stage story. We just started drilling. And what could this be? The person who wrote our technical report, a PhD geologist, has compared this to the Keno Hill Silver District in the Yukon. Keno Hill has produced about 300 million ounces of silver since 1913, and he did an actual genetic analysis of the rock to look into the temperature, the different components that make up the rocks, and these quartz veins, these antimony-rich quartz carbonate veins are located throughout the project from bottom to top. And if you kind of do a little bit of a cheeky slide here and you take a look at the western side of the Keno Hill district, that same trend line, our 12 kilometers, if you attributed that to the Keno Hill district, you would find 230 million ounces of silver was produced, and that was back when silver was $1. So we're looking at a very large scale type of potential for this project. So what do you do when you have all of this science that kind of backs up the excitement? You got to go drill it. You got to go find what's going on. So we started our maiden drill program in June of this year. We drilled 8,500 meters and we just finished it up. If you guys are investors in the junior mining market, you know assays are very delayed and it takes a little while to get things done. But we did start to have some things trickle in. When you're drilling for the first time across a 12-kilometer trend line, it's pretty hard to figure out exactly where you're going. So what we ended up doing is we kind of drilled 16 holes from bottom to top, but without really understanding a structural control of it all, kind of just seeing what was going on under the ground. And then eventually when we started to figure out what was happening, we altered our drill program midway in about August, and all of a sudden in the first hole that's come back, we found these very high grades of silver and copper, lead, zinc, and antimony within these quartz veins in our drill hole. And so you had these okay, decent kind of hits. You have this 11 meters of 75 gram equivalent, 10 of 90, so not mind-building kind of grades, but stuff that you want to see. From that hole, though, we were able to alter the program, and then eventually what we've pulled out recently was this small, narrow, but very high-grade massive sulfide 0.35 meter intersection where you see grades of 6% copper, 1,500 grams silver, 29% zinc, and 2.5% antimony. Why that gets us so excited is because now we're seeing that the grades that we found on surface, this 4,500 gram silver, the 15% copper, is actually something that we can find with a structural control under the ground. The remaining part of our holes are chasing these kind of things, and we've noted that we're seeing better kinds of widths and mineralization in these quartz veins. What also gets us really excited is that mineralization, what you see at the bottom there. This is this dolostone host rock, and what's really exciting about this is that these sulfide trickles that carry high grades of silver, lead, and zinc, they actually have forced their way into this dolostone rock, which means that there's something very, very powerful pushing itself into the country rock. So that makes it very exciting for us, especially when we start to understand where it all is. So we had talked about that everything was really done prior to us taking over the project. So we had soils, we had trenching, we had grabs, but the other thing that was done was this IP survey was done across the project. And if you kind of take a look at where essentially the pink turns into yellow, it's this structural jog that represents this argillite shale cap, and it kind of creates this trap of mineralization. And the image there in the top right corner is showing you that the mineralization, that breccia and those quartz veins, is it's growing, especially visually of what we're seeing, as you start to reach this cap. And the reason that's so important is because it's not just in the zone that we're drilling right now, where you're seeing this argillite, where these caps happen from the IP, is that you see these targets all along the 12 kilometers. And why that matters is, just for an example, here in the north, there are 5 different structural jogs within this IP anomaly that coincide with the surface samples and coincide with the trenching. So what you're looking for is you're trying to basically say, if we can figure out one area in that 12-kilometer long section, then you have multiple targets to chase. So for us, we have about 6,000 meters of drilling that's about to come. That's going to provide us with assays, and we're going to see where we're at within the south zone as we kind of push forward. So the team behind it, I think Morgan actually said it pretty perfectly, is you need a very well-rounded team to push forward on a venture company. The chairman of the company, Richard Patricio, is on the board of NextGen Uranium, which is probably one of the better undeveloped assets in the world. Spent about 25 years raising capital to over $2 billion in different things. We've worked together for about 12 years. As I said, my background as investment analyst and then running junior companies. Our board is Stephen Keith is our engineer on the board. He's done about $2 billion of transactions over the last 25 years, both in South America and North America. And then we lean very heavily on our advisory board. Being in Newfoundland, it really helps to have people that understand what they're doing. Our head of exploration is Kelly Malcolm. Kelly spoke yesterday about Amex exploration. He's running our exploration program. Amex is one of the better gold discoveries. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out, in Canada. And so he runs the program from here. Denny Laviolette, Denny and I used to work together. He's president of Newfound Gold. Obviously, Newfound Gold is one of the better discoveries that we've seen in a while. Also, Newfoundland, he's very intimately understanding of this project. And we use his insights and expertise to really to help us push this along. And then Mark Ragu is actually another former colleague of mine. He represents Altius Resources, and we got this project from Altius, and Altius actually has their senior geologist, their chief geologist is about 3 hours south of the project. So their technical expertise, their understanding, they've been in Newfoundland for about 30 years. They've contributed very, very well to our understanding of the project. So quickly on the capital structure, so if the project has this world-class size potential, we're drilling, we're seeing what's coming, you want to make sure that the capital structure is intact. So this company was just formed a year ago when we put this asset in. So we have 48 million shares out, we have about $3.5 million of cash, expect to exit the year with about $3 million. Fully diluted, it's 65-70 million with the warrants at 45 cents and 78 cents. What's great about the opportunity here is I believe our stock closed yesterday around 30 or 35. But our last deal where we raised $3 million with nine basically high net worth or institutions, that was done at 52 cents. In March, and so you're getting kind of 8,500 meters of drilling and a lot of different things that are kind of come since then. So I think one of the great things about this, and I understand Peter the angle on this, but I think that what's really exciting is that you get these very high grades of multiple metals, which I think also opens it up to different interests. So you want to be in the green movement, you need silver, you need copper, and you need zinc. You want to be in the hedge for inflation where you're playing it with gold and you need silver. And antimony, as I'm coming to learn, is actually worth more than copper and is basically needed for all of our phones and is controlled in China and Russia. 90% of it is controlled. So lots of really good metals there. for exposure. So lots of news flow, $10 million, $10 to $12 million market cap, lots of upside, and I think that the story really lends itself to something that could be a really new and interesting discovery as we push forward on our project. So thanks a lot for the time.